What do you think you want to start today on conversation?
That's a good question.
Do you have anything that is going on in real life you want to talk about? Or do you have any topics you want to bring up to start with? So I just have stories. I don't really have a good starting point.
I don't have a good starting point either. I just had questions. You know what sucks, Adam?
Tell me what sucks.
Being insecure about if people like you.
Oh man, this is something I struggle with even you. I'm like, does this guy fucking think I'm a tool?
You really struggle with that?
Yeah. I
I mean, I struggled with that with you for a long time.
I hate to hear that. But I
Well,
just told it to you, so I can't really say
yeah.
that.
Well, because like for a long time we didn't really hang out. But you were going through your own stuff. And I think that's the problem. Is it's hard to know when people are going through their own stuff and when they actually don't like you.
Would you like ask me to hang out? And I would say no. Or do we
Yeah,
just not hang out?
like back, particularly back towards the end of you working at Rooster Teeth and after you left, like I would ask you to play games and stuff, and you never really wanted to.
Oh, that
And
sucks.
and
I'm
you
sorry.
were you would play with your other friend a lot, so I was like, oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I definitely like play games with Brian a lot, but that doesn't mean I don't want to play games. I'm sorry I didn't.
No, don't be
I
sorry.
don't. Yeah, I don't know why.
But
I,
that's just what and I do that with everybody.
yeah.
You know, if they don't want to hang out, I'm like, oh, they must not think I'm a good friend.
No, I think you're a good friend. I want to be like I want you to like me. I think you're cool.
Thanks.
That's why we're doing podcasts
Yeah,
together.
I think you're cool too.
There was one time that you hurt my feelings so bad. I don't know if I've ever told you this.
Did I?
It hurt my feelings so bad.
Oh no.
Actually, there was two times, but
Oh
well,
no.
the first one was not really. That one's whatever. When I left Rooster Teeth, I wanted to go have like a goodbye lunch, and no one wanted to go with me on my last day of work. And dude, I was so sad. I said, "You want to go?" You're like, "I'm just too busy." It's like, okay. 7 years of working together, or we worked together for like 6 years or 5.5 years. But I was so bummed.
I do not remember this.
Yeah, no one wanted to go with me, and Adam was already gone. Like we did one for him when he left, and I was like, I just want to say, have one last goodbye lunch with my coworkers.
Okay, so here's what I do remember.
Uh huh.
I remember us not doing a goodbye lunch,
Uh-huh.
but I don't remember why. And I do remember that period of time being a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you exactly what it was. You were too busy with work, and I think that at the time, work had a hold on you of like, this is the most important thing, and I'm so stressed about it that I can't take an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do remember for at least a year and a half, there were multiple conversations, internal conversations we had in our department of like, we should really reach out to Adam and see if he wants to do a belated goodbye lunch.
Yeah.
Because we all really missed you
Yeah.
and really was sad that we weren't able to do that.
I was so sad.
Man,
So sad.
I'm so sorry.
Can I tell you the other one? This one is not really your fault as much.
Yeah, but I want to address this.
Uh-huh.
That was, I feel so bad about that, and I just like, I don't. That was not like a personal thing. I was probably
know.
like,
I understand where you're coming from. I
So
just at the
I'm
time I
sorry.
was like, man, this is so like I'm leaving this company. It's already a hard choice, and I was like, it's just people don't fucking like me. And then like Ben didn't talk to me for like the other people I worked with didn't talk to me for a long time. I was like, okay, this is great.
that is something that really bums me out, and I feel like I'm gonna go through that a lot when I leave Rooster Teeth. Where like I don't think they, my coworkers already feel like they barely want to hang out with me, and I feel like when I'm not working there anymore, I'm just not gonna be friends with those people anymore, and that's what happens when you leave jobs.
It is.
And it's a bummer.
Me and you we had a very clear conversation of like, just because I'm leaving, like we still need to talk and maintain friendship, and we did.
Yeah.
We didn't hang out as much for a couple years because of COVID, but yeah, we still talked all the time. Okay, so the other story was like it was in October, and I really wanted to do something nice, and I was like, "Hey guys, this weekend, this Saturday in like late October, if you guys are free, I'm gonna have a little Halloween party for us. I'm gonna make a bunch of Halloween themed foods." And I kept, and everyone was sort of non-committal, but like, they're like, "Yeah, I should be able to come if nothing's wrong." That was sort of like the gist from everyone. And then I made, even leading on the day of like, I think I can make it. Yeah, I should be there. Or I don't know. Like there was a couple of people who were like, I can't make it. I was like, fuck. But then there was a couple like I don't knows. And I made a snake calzone. I made a spider shaped brie. I made mummy hot dogs. I made a couple of like Halloween fun spooky foods. Not a single person came over. That was like the most I have no friends moment of my fucking life, dude. It sucked.
Oh my
This is
god.
when Adam was still around. This is when no one wanted to come. And so me and Grace ate mummy hot dogs and I said, wow, I'm a fucking loser.
God, dude. I feel so. I don't even want to do this podcast today. I feel so bad right now. Like I just want to like crawl into a corner and cry and
Well,
die.
I'm just justifying why I think people don't like me.
Oh man. So this is I think at the heart of why it's hard to know if people don't like you or if they're dealing with their own shit. Because I mean, you and me have talked about so much how much depression that we deal with on a constant, never-ending basis.
Totally.
And how that manifests for me is that I just don't want to leave my house.
No, totally. I understand.
Like I will look for any excuse to get out of doing anything, even if it's with people I really like, and I know that if I go, I'll have a great time.
You have your excuse for not hanging out with me for a long time was my cats, and I know it's a valid excuse, but we sit here for like 3 hours every week now.
it really depends. Like right now, I'm already feeling it.
Oh no!
And I'm worried that like this is gonna have to be a shorter podcast.
No,
because like my eyes are already itchy and I'm already starting to sneeze.
That's not good.
So I think it's just like because just earlier Slayer jumped up and shook out, and I think like because typically they're not around when we're doing a podcast.
Normally they're sleeping.
So it's just a crapshoot.
Yeah, it sucks.
But so it is a valid excuse. It's not the best excuse though.
It's an easy go-to.
But I hate that feeling. I hate itchy eyes, and it lasts like when it really gets going, it's gonna last all day.
I believe you. I'm not saying I don't think that you have allergies to cats. I'm just saying that's a really easy go-to excuse for
it. Definitely is
when you don't want to go for other reasons too.
Because I'm super depressed.
Oh
man.
But
I feel so I know you didn't mean to like
no, but
I honestly, a name
and
and shame today.
This is good therapy because I need to be honest with you about because those times did hurt my feelings, and I don't think I've ever told anyone about those except Grace. But I have a thing where like and I know why. Like I know the events in childhood where this came from. Where like I feel like I want people to like me.
Same.
Like I just want to be as like generally nice and pleasing to people as possible, even if it's like to my own detriment, or even if they don't deserve that. And yeah, I definitely have that like, do these people actually not like me feeling all the time?
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to question my judgment sometimes on like, oh, this was a great conversation and this went really well, and no, all right. So like I had an interview the other day and I was like, yeah, killed it. It was great. He definitely liked me. Like this was a great. I'm for sure gonna get a second interview, even if like I don't really want the job. I just wanted some practice. And then he's like, no second interview for you. It's like, fuck, maybe I don't know if people like me. So like I keep getting this like, negative reinforcements.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel I do the same thing. When it took me a long time to learn how to not be annoying with my like desire for people to like me so much.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty sure I was very annoying in high
Yeah.
school. Because I wanted people to like me so bad. I would try to be somebody I wasn't.
Mhm.
And it's obvious when people are trying to be somebody they aren't.
Totally.
Especially to people like you've been going to school with for like 10
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah.
I cringe a lot thinking about some of the shit
Did
I
you
did
ever
in
have like a
school.
sudden change in style where you were like, yeah, I think we all did. I don't like, you don't have to say specific. It's so embarrassing.
It's so
It's
embarrassing.
so fucking embarrassing. But I think about it like I went out with my mom and bought a bunch of clothes of a style I did not wear because the people that I was trying to be friends with wore. And it was like one day I went in with a totally different kind of clothes and everyone's like, what are you fucking wearing? I was like, I'm this guy now.
Yeah.
Oof.
I went through a really brief emo stage
That's so funny, dude.
in ninth grade.
Did you dye your hair?
Yes.
Oh my god. That's so cool.
My mom still brings that up because I dyed my hair black.
Uh,
And I used to have blonde hair. And after the black faded out, it never went back to blonde. It's just been this dirty
but
blonde.
you did it when you were 13? You said?
Yeah, about.
Okay. Hair color does change.
It does.
So
but
maybe you just like bridge the gap.
Maybe.
So
But it was a bummer.
did you wear what
I,
like
you know what?
some eye makeup?
I got out of the phase so quickly because I thankfully realized how ridiculous it was. Because I just went through this really like brooding phase where I like wasn't talking to anybody and I was like, I'm mad about stuff.
Yeah.
And then after like 3 months I was like, oh, this is really stupid.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pretend to not be happy.
Yeah.
But then I grew up and I don't have to pretend to not be happy anymore. Just am not happy.
I never did I'm so glad I didn't do the emo phase, but I don't know. Mine was equally as bad. I also, when I was like 13 is when I first started growing facial hair. And it was like the first time I hadn't shaved in a while. And then I like trimmed up my hair into like a little goatee and then, long sideburns. And my dad was like, are you going to wear that outside the house? And then I said, yeah. He's like, it's a phase. And it was not. I had facial hair from that day forth for the rest of my life.
Wait, how old were you?
13 or maybe 14. It was 13 or 14, one of those two.
So you haven't seen your chin since the age of 13.
No, like I started with the chin and some sideburns, eventually got the mustache, and then I just went full bore. So that like the full beard's only like a decade old, but the other parts are almost 20 years old.
Now, people may not know this, but you were offered at one point, was it $5,000?
It was like yeah, it was a very tentative offer. They're like, hey, we're trying to make a deal with Gillette, the shaving company. Would you be willing to shave your beard for $5,000? And I was like, no. And this is a time where when I worked at Rooster Teeth, I'm not afraid to say this, I was making like 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
I was like, give me 20 and I can pay off my student loans. And they're like, no. Like, okay, you're getting, however much money from this deal. That would be a good, but no, I didn't do it.
So how much would you shave your beard for right now?
Probably enough to retire is the only number. Because it's important to me.
No, I
my identity.
I agree, absolutely.
Yeah, if I'm gonna like take a once in a lifetime opportunity to get a lump sum of money, it's gonna be a fucking lot, or it's nothing.
Okay, but if somebody offered you $20,000 right now, you wouldn't take it.
Even jobless, probably not.
That is amazing,
Yeah.
and I understand, but it's still like it's hard for me to wrap my mind around that.
There are almost nothing that I like. There are almost no things that I like about myself, except my beard.
Yeah, I mean, you have great facial hair.
Thanks.
It's phenomenal.
And so, like, if I took that one thing away, and God, I probably look so stupid under this stupid beard. I've already do look.
How would you know?
I look at my dad. Just kidding. My dad's very handsome, yeah, I don't. I just like I can feel under there. I'm like I don't really have a good chin. This is not for me. Like
Okay,
So, you see those videos of people shaving their beards, and you're like, what the fuck? And
Yeah.
for me, I feel like I wouldn't be able to get over it. And I think even just growing this out would probably take like 2 or 3 years to get to this length.
Yeah.
So,
I've never been able to grow a beard.
you got a mustache?
I did. Yeah, this is new.
I know.
And
I like it.
thanks. I mean, it's the best I can do. I can't do anything else.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You gonna get some aviators so you can be like Top Gun Maverick?
Probably not.
I think that'd be cool.
Maybe I should try that look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wish you could grow facial hair?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always wanted a beard.
You just want the option, though. It's not fair not to have the option.
It's not fair, but I've wanted to have a beard. Like, I think I would look good in a beard. But I don't, my little brother is maybe the closest in our entire family who can grow a beard. I don't think my dad can. Neither of my grandfathers could. My uncles haven't been able to grow beards. We're just like we don't have good genes to grow a beard.
You ever try like the rollers or any of the over the counter stuff you can try to make it happen? Like
rollers.
Yeah, there's like these little things that you like. They're like spiky rollers that like poke holes in your skin. I don't know what the fuck they're called. Dermal rollers, I think.
I've never tried that.
I think it might be a pseudoscience that they stimulate hair growth.
Kind of sounds like it is. Yeah. There is a thing, supposedly, if you pluck enough hairs in a region, it's supposed to stimulate greater hair growth. But I don't know, there's like a critical mass you have to reach for your body to start sending signals to be like, okay, we need to like grow hair and like regrow more hair in that area.
It's very interesting.
But I never tried it because I don't want to lose what little I have.
Yeah. Also, plucking your face is not fun. What experiences are you having with not knowing if people like you? What made you bring that up?
Oh, just life, like every day of my life.
Why?
Because when I'm like, hey Gilby, have you played this game? You want to play this game? You're like, oh yeah, I played it with my friend Brian.
What game was it?
I'm giving you shit right now.
What game was it?
But many times over the years, like, hey, have you played this game? And you're like, oh yeah, I'm playing that with Brian. It's fun. And I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I guess, all right, this might be my, like, this is a little bit of social ineptitude on my part. That's not me saying, no, I won't play it with you.
Totally. But like,
I'm just answering the question as, like, dumb honest as I am. If you were like, oh, awesome, do you want to come join our server for a bit? I'd probably say yes. Absolutely. But I also have said no in those cases. I know specifically.
Absolutely. But like, me, because I'm scared of getting hurt and rejected. That I dipped my toe in the water, and I was like, I don't want to come out and just say like, well, do you want to play with me? And then you're like, oh no, I don't,
dude. It's so like I hate hearing that. It's my fault. You shouldn't be intimidated to ask me to play games. The answer is I always want to play games, and I definitely have a lot of time. And yeah, I think you're cool, and I want to hang out with you. So,
well, thanks.
I'm sorry that I made you feel that way.
You didn't make me feel that way. I feel that way about everybody.
Yeah.
I feel that way in all situations because I'm just so, I have so much social anxiety around worrying about if people like me. Mm-hmm. So I get like, I don't know if I want to ask if you want to play games with me because then you may not want to. But that's with everybody.
No, I want to play games. Right now it's a little weird because I don't have a job, so I'm not really buying a lot of games, but there are games that we can play. Yeah. And there's a couple I'm going to buy. We'll see.
So, yeah. That's why I brought that up. Okay. I was just thinking about that the other day. A lot of high school trauma from self-induced. Like all those situations were just me being weird, trying to get people to like me.
Was there situations but I was thinking, was there situations where people were mean to you and they didn't like you?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. Those are mean. I don't like those. Tell me.
Yeah. Now, this could all be, it could be manufacturing all of this, mm-hmm. But I feel reasonably confident that most of the people that I went to high school with, who I'm still in touch with, like periodically, do not like me.
I agree with that sentiment from my personal, yeah.
and they're all really close friends with each other.
Yeah.
And I've sort of always been on the outside of that. But I thought when I was in high school that I was part of that group, but I think I was always kind of on the outside of that.
I want to share some words of wisdom that we've both received and say that you're not special. This is not a unique scenario. I feel the same way. I feel like I was on the outside of my social groups, and they seem like they're close. And yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I sympathize. I'm not saying that to be a dick, but
No, it's
sounds
good
like
advice.
it's but it is like I do feel that way, and I know what you mean. But I'm not in contact with them, and I know they don't like me.
Okay, so you're special.
Because I'm not in contact with them.
Oh, okay.
You know, if I was in contact with them, maybe I would have there could be an opening. There's a couple people who I had thought didn't like me, but then like at some point in my life followed me on social media and then would talk to me on there. So then I was like, oh, these people made an effort. Clearly they have some fondness.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other reason I was just thinking about it was just because I'm leaving Rooster Teeth soon, and it makes me sad. And I was thinking about, man, I hope I hope people weren't just being friends with me because I worked there,
Yeah. It's
and they probably weren't, but
right. I think that there are going to be situations where like people were friends with you there and still lose touch with you because that's just what
Absolutely.
happens. Even not because they didn't like you.
absolutely.
Because I think there are certainly people there that I don't know. I guess like I never really hung out with a lot of people at work outside of work, for whatever reason.
Mhm.
But when I see those people or talk to those people, I still think they're nice and are friendly to me. So
Yeah,
but I don't know. You got to make a concerted effort.
you do, and I suck at making concerted efforts on anything.
Yeah.
That's the other problem. And I'm sure people think I don't like them because I don't make an effort because I'm so bad at it.
I have a group of people that I constantly go back and try to talk to on like an almost daily basis, and I feel like I'm very annoying. But I just want to let them know, like, hey man, what's up?
Can you talk about who these people are?
I mean, you're one of them.
Oh,
like
okay.
Adam's one of them. Like there are people that like when I sit down in the morning at my computer, like I want to like start a conversation with and see how they're doing. But because I don't want them to like forget that I exist. Because there are people that like I've forgotten to do that with and haven't talked to in years now.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Well, just as you clearly laid it out for me, I want to clearly lay it out for you that I like you a lot
Thanks.
and I want to hang out with you a lot.
Okay. I do too. I want to hang out.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I was really,
let's do board game nights again.
really sorry about
Jerk.
Halloween.
It's okay.
I feel so, that is gonna like stick with me for a few days.
Hold on, I have pictures of all the food I made. I was so
Okay.
excited before I knew no one was coming that I
my
posted
God,
them
dude.
on social media,
Oh my God.
and I'll put these in the edit as well. They're not that far back because once this happened, I just stopped using social media.
This is like
all right.
I'm feeling physical anxiety
So
and pain.
there's a couple things in this photo that are. I also made spider cookies, spider peanut butter cup cookies, and then behind it is it's a pumpkin brie behind it, and I guess that's all I have on my Instagram, but there are more somewhere. But
I believe you.
yeah, pizza calzone snake.
I believe you. I believe it was awesome.
The food wasn't that good, but I was excited about the shapes that they came in.
Yeah.
They were fun. They were
Uh-huh.
fun, spooky theme.
Yeah. You probably wanted to share that with your friends who are all
Yeah.
pieces of shit.
I no longer organize parties. That was my one and only attempt. I let Grace do that when she wants to have
God.
people over, and then I'll invite folks over. You know what I won't do though is weddings.
Oh my God, dude. I hate weddings.
I've universally declined all weddings since I went to one like. First off, they were Grace's friends, and she was asked to be what's the women's side bridesmaid. She was asked to be a bridesmaid for her friend, and I had met that friend and her husband when we went to a con together. We spent about a week together, and we got pretty close. And then shortly thereafter, he asked me to be a groomsman, and that was weird. But like the situation was that like his best friend couldn't come, and he needed someone else, and he thought your wife's already going to be a bridesmaid. Come even it out.
Okay.
But they had a destination wedding in Orlando,
Oh
and
my god.
needed to stay in a specific hotel, get specific, obviously, tuxedos and dresses, gifts. We were there for like 5 days. So we needed to go to the parks, and we needed to buy park passes for all those days.
Oh my god.
Dude,
That's thousands of dollars.
it was thousands of dollars. That trip ended up costing us more than the trip to 2 weeks in Japan. The entirety.
That's not cool.
It sucked. And it was one of those like kind of piecemeal things where like you're doing like, oh, the plane tickets are $500 each. That's a lot. And you get the plane tickets, you're like, oh shit, they want us to stay in this hotel. That's like $150 a night for 6 nights or for 5 nights or whatever. Shit is starting to get really expensive, and the park passes are like so much money. And I don't blame them, but it is their fault.
No, it absolutely is.
Never do something like that again, with the exception of my friend Brian, who, if he has a wedding, I'm there.
Yeah.
Because man, it's too much to ask of people.
I don't understand how people can ask that of people. That's what really blows my mind is how you can, in good conscience, ask people to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for a destination wedding, with rules like that. Like if it's like hey, we're getting married here, we would love it if you could find a way to be here. Cool, if that's it. But to have to spend money on tuxes, to have to stay in a specific hotel, to have to like spend money on all these specific things seems so narcissistic to me.
It's crazy.
And
I fucking crazy.
I cannot wrap my head around not having the self-awareness to ask people to do that.
Yeah. When me and Grace got married, first off, it was always going to be this where we were like, we're either going to elope or it's going to be immediate family only. And not because we don't want to see our friends, but because like, dude, I don't want my friends to have to fly here or even go out of their way to like buy a suit that fits or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I felt a little bit bad that like I didn't even invite Brian, who's my best friend, or anyone other than my dad, my mom, and my sister. That was it. And Grace did the same, like her parents, and we went and had it at her grandpa's house because he was old and could not travel. And that was it. It was like less than 10 people, but it was dope. And it cost like the only thing that was expensive was her mom arranged a like private chef to come cater it, which was amazing. But it's like $1,200 for a wedding. I'm in.
Great.
That's great.
Yeah.
What did you do?
We had a regular wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but really small and very casual.
Good.
I didn't ask people to wear anything in particular other than like a button-up shirt.
Mhm.
We did like jeans and a button-up shirt.
Cool.
That wedding. Yeah, I got married in jeans, and that was like that's what I'm doing. I'm not putting on nice clothes. I hate nice clothes.
Yeah.
And we just got it at a church up in Denton. And
So
yeah, it was
that's
cool.
where you grew up, right, Den? Or were you
I
from?
grew up in DFW,
Okay.
but I went to college in Denton.
Got it.
And yeah, it was cheap. Like a family friend who loves to like barbecue was like, I'll just cook for everybody. It was like 200-person wedding, and he just like made
Was
food
it
for everybody.
200-person wedding?
Yeah.
How many people do you know, dude? I know like
Was
4.
it 200? Maybe it was like 150, but
You know 4? What are you talking about? How do you know this many people?
maybe it wasn't 200 people. Am I misremembering that? It doesn't matter.
It's a lot.
It was between 1 and 200.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, it's a lot to me. I just don't.
My extended family, who all lives in Texas within 3 hours, is like 50 people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So-
It's crazy that they all live in like a
Yeah.
somewhat close space too. Do you have family reunions and stuff?
Yeah, I don't go to those. I used to.
Yeah.
But they're so I don't want to.
You don't like your family?
I know I love my family. I don't like my extended family, and they're nice. I have nothing against them. I just don't want to go to Whitney, Texas, where it's like hot and flat, and there's nothing to do, and have boring conversations. I might have to cut this part.
I mean, I completely sympathize. So for my dad's side of the family, no family values. He has two brothers that he talks to sometimes, and I see them like once a decade. They each have a couple kids. I don't know any of them. The last time I saw them was probably when I was like 8 for half of them. It's weird. Like I always see like people like, oh, my family, love family. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, like I feel that way about my immediate family.
Yeah.
Like I keep up with them. I try to see them as much as possible, even though I fucking hate traveling. I hate driving, but I still like try to go up there. But yeah, like the extended family, I'm like I grew up in like the orbit of these people, but I have like no real connection to them.
Yeah.
And that feels weird and bad, but also I don't know what to do with that other than like it's just it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, it's just how it happened. On my mom's side is completely different. She has 6 sisters, or had 6 sisters and 1 brother, and each of them had like 2 or 3 or 4 kids. And so like in Israel, they're all like it's the kind of family that like you see on TV, where they're all in each other's business all the time, but they love each other even though they're like insane.
Is that where the extended family is in
Yeah.
Israel?
And then some of them are in Las Vegas, where my sister is, and so she kind of has some of that. But man, like they're, because they're in Israel, I don't, have that relationship with them. Not that I don't want to, but I also don't want to go to Israel. I've been there
Right.
a lot, and it's not my favorite place. It's also expensive as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
also like they do the same thing where I don't know. I have 20 something cousins over there, and every time one of them gets married, they're like, "Come over to Israel, stay here for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, come to my wedding." I'm like, you're insane.
Yeah.
It'll cost like $2,000 just to get there. I don't know you.
Yeah. Oh,
And my
man.
mom is always, every time there's a wedding, she gives me shit. Like, why don't you go to the wedding, Adam? And it's going to be so beautiful. And in the last couple, she's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to go. It's very expensive." I'm like, probably a good call. Like, God.
It's so expensive to fly overseas.
Yeah. It's too expensive to fly, period. But like some overseas flights are less expensive than domestic flights, and that really frustrates me.
Really?
Yes.
How is that even possible?
I flew to Japan one time for $500. I can't get to my dad for less than $6.
I don't even understand how that works.
I don't either.
That's so weird.
You tell me.
No, I can't.
It's crazy how expensive it is to fly from here to like pretty much either coast.
Yeah.
Like way
Flights
too much.
suck. I hate the infrastructure we have in this country. What is wrong with trains? We could have just had trains.
Yeah.
The totally functional. Did you see that they had this? I'll see if I can find this up, dig this up to show it to you later, and maybe we can like link it if I find it. But they had this AI algorithm that like ran this really long, extensive, exhaustive research effort trying to figure out how to fix traffic congestion issues, and it independently invented a train.
No, I didn't see that, but it does not surprise me.
Just like why? Why are we so car plane centric? It's so frustrating. I hate both of those modes of travel.
Yeah. Have you been to a place where trains are like really good?
No, but I would love to visit EU, Japan to just to see that kind of public transit. Oh, I've been to New York and I love the subway system.
It's a good system.
I love
Other
it.
than like it's a good system, but it's also like so crappy in terms of how it's maintained, and it's such a
When was
mess.
the last time you were there? I feel like it's relatively. I mean, it's not like Japan level clean, but it's not like it was in the 80s to mid 2000s.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of like the Warriors, but I'm thinking of like I'm thinking of like, I don't know. I went there New York Comic Con like a few years ago, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is a mess.
Yeah, you see some mystery puddles in some seats every now and
Yeah.
again. But other than that, so personally, I'm a fan of kind of grungy stuff.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it adds character, even though I do like really nice stuff too. Like I'm so impressed when I see videos of public transit in Japan. But I'm also like, there's a part of me when I see the New York subway system, I'm like, this feels very homey and familiar, like
You
grunge.
have you lived in a place like that? I lived in Philly, and it is like there is no charm. You're
Well, I don't know about Philly. I think there is. To me, there's tons of charm to New York, and I've been there a lot.
okay, and you don't. I guess like so for me living in those kind of places. Well, Philly is not the same as New York, but it is similar. They have a subway system, not as good, but it exists. But just in general, like because of crime rates, you feel like you're always on edge.
Yeah, no, and that's certainly a problem that you don't really face as a tourist too often.
Yeah,
But there to like there's something really um what is the word I'm looking for? Magnetic to me about this like walkable neighborhoods. Like like I can just go out of my apartment and walk to go somewhere,
yeah,
and then walk to go somewhere else. And I don't have to get a car, and I don't like businesses and residents all are together,
yeah.
and I
I
love that.
I agree, and I that was the thing about Tokyo that I was like, this is unfucking believable. How incredible this place is. I hate cities with a passion. I would move here in a heartbeat. I guess I didn't do enough of New York to get that feeling. I was still Ubering places. I didn't take the subway too often, so I didn't get the feeling of being connected by walking. There is a feeling you get of that, but
Yeah,
like, it's so different here, where it's like sit in a car for 45 minutes to go, 20 miles.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah. I mean, so much of Austin is because I hate driving and because I refuse to sit in traffic is off limits to me
hmm
because I'm not gonna drive. I love South Austin. I'm not driving down there.
yeah,
It's gonna take me 45 minutes.
yeah.
It sucks.
If I lived another life, I would definitely have liked to have made an effort to live in Japan for a while. But
You know where I really want to visit? Uh, any Nordic country.
me too.
They seem like they really have their shit together.
Yeah, like which one? Iceland? Is Iceland Nordic?
Any of them? I think so. But like, I'm thinking probably more like Denmark or
Is Denmark
Sweden.
Nordic?
Is it?
I don't know. I don't, dude. I mean, I don't even know where these places are. I can't.
Do you have a guess?
Up.
It's a good
It's
guess.
cold. Also cold down somewhere, I guess.
Is it cold down? I mean, I know it's cold at the bottom.
Yeah, it's cold down there, so that
But
counts.
like, is there a
I
is
don't
like
think
cold in
is there
South
anything, Is
Africa?
there anything close there? I don't think it is cold in South Africa.
Is there a
It can be cold in New Zealand. There's mountains that
Oh,
get cold
okay.
up high.
Does it get cold in Australia?
Probably.
If you're Australian, please tell us.
Probably.
We don't
not.
know.
Probably not so cold.
But Australia's further south.
Than New Zealand.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
How does the world work?
Dude, I don't even know if we're on the world, if it's real. No, I really don't. Geography is like, I've been thinking recently, like I need to, um, first off learn the names of every country, and then
Mhm.
maybe be able to fill a map out, just
Yeah.
for my own. Like I'm so bad at it. I couldn't do that with the United States.
Really
No,
interesting.
like yeah, the major ones I can probably pick out,
hmm
but there's so much in the
In the
middle.
middle, yeah. I mean, you're probably right. I'm probably with you. Like I couldn't pick out the states that nobody gives a shit about because they're shitty states.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to think like Oklahoma, zero idea.
Zero idea where Oklahoma is.
Nope. I don't even know if it's I'm not kidding. And this is not a point of pride. This is like I'm bad at geography. And I
Yeah,
have not made an effort to be good at it.
but Oklahoma,
I don't know even what is it a state?
it is a state. Oklahoma's like right up there. It's our hat.
I know Arkansas is up there.
Oklahoma
'Cause
is
I drove through it.
directly above Texas.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
But, like, I wouldn't blame you for not knowing where Mississippi is, because who needs to know where Mississippi is? That's you got it.
Yeah, it's. I'm not proud
Yeah.
of my geography. No, lack of knowledge. But
To be fair, I feel like I've only recently started learning where certain countries are in the world because I've been getting kind of into history.
nice.
Just reading and watching stuff. I don't know why it's been a sudden interest. I mean, I guess I've always had like a low level interest in it.
What specifically areas of history are you most interested in?
Okay, well, really any of them. I just kind of like learning about new stuff, but I have to tell you, there is a YouTube channel that does World War II week by week. So like they cover like what happened this week
Ooh,
back in
so
World War
it's
II.
almost like a news report.
Almost. It is so good. I mean, so good. I devoured that up until like I caught up. They were like 3 years in, and like I caught up to where they are now. And I don't want to watch anymore because I want like to watch several episodes at once. But they go really in depth about all the stuff that's happened to Europe, and they use maps and everything. And so I've been learning a lot about where things are,
That's cool.
which is cool.
Yeah, I can see myself getting into something like that. So, is it wars you're mainly interested in, or
No, not. I
Just whatever.
I just found that YouTube channel and I got like really obsessed with it.
Got it.
But I'm kind of interested in a lot of different stuff. I just read a book called The History of Russia, which was really cool. There's a lot of crazy shit that happened in Russian history, and it's very bleak.
Seems like it would be.
It does not. There's not very many periods of history where you're a Russian and having a good time, and that's really sad. Like
It is really
It's
sad.
really bleak, and I understand after reading that book some of their like distrust and hatred of the West, because history, everybody has taken turns doing fucked up shit to each other, but the West took a lot of extra turns doing super fucked up shit to Russia. Not that it excuses anything, but
No.
it's like historical context is very important
Mm-hmm.
to understanding like why things are the way they are. This is such a tangent, but anyway, I've been enjoying reading different history stuff.
That's really interesting. I'm curious to know what events you're talking about Russia, but we can talk about it.
Well, like just the 20th century, it was basically 100, well not 100, like 60 or 70 years of constant warfare for Russia. They had World War One, and then they withdrew from World War One to have a civil war, and then they went from the Civil War into World War Two, and then from World War Two into the Cold War under Stalin's regime, which was really brutal, and then the Soviet Union collapsed, and they dealt with all that fallout. So they've had like 20 years of not strife, but those weren't a good 20 years because their economy was completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And now they're back in war.
Yep. Did you watch the Tetris movie?
I did watch the Tetris movie.
That was good.
I like that movie.
I don't know how much of it is like totally accurate. I feel like most of maybe the real conflicty stuff was fabricated, but
I'm sure. I don't know either.
it's fun.
It's
and
a good movie.
I do like the fact that in the end, like the inventor of Tetris got out and
Yeah.
formed the Tetris company and, seemingly had a good life.
Yeah.
That was very heartening. Not often you get like, good stories when it comes to businesses being founded.
Yeah. Or good stories about the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a great place.
Yeah, no. What countries have you visited?
One outside of the U.S. And that makes
Mexico?
me sad. Mexico. I didn't like Mexico.
Where did you go?
Mexico City. It
I've never been there.
sucked.
Okay.
I mean, I went there for a basketball tournament. And yeah, it was, again, historical context for why there are a lot of problems in South America, mostly caused by U.S. foreign policy over the last 100 years. But that doesn't make me enjoy it anymore
No.
because, man, it really sucked. And it's just like the extreme levels of income inequality where you have these really nice areas like walled off from complete destitution.
Yeah.
And we saw a lot of that in Mexico, and it was really sad. But this was also, again, that was like 20 years ago. I went to Mexico City, so I don't know what it looks like today. That was 20 years ago. The worst part was taking taxis. I thought I was going to die every time we got into a taxi because we would be driving, and there's sometimes lanes, even though the drivers don't really follow the lanes or give a shit about them. But it's like enough of a social construct that I was like, okay, this is survivable. But then it would dump out into just pavement with nothing. And cars were just going everywhere.
Yeah.
And I've never been so afraid about, so certain I was going to die in a car wreck.
Dude. Other countries and their their traffic system is baffling.
Mm-hmm.
When I would drive into Israel, first off, that was an experience. But I had this one time where I was driving with my aunt, and someone rear-ended her like really hard, and we're like, "Whoa!" Our car got hit, and she goes, "Benzona," which is something like "motherfucker" or something like that, or "son of a bitch." And then she just lets it go and just keeps driving. Like she just didn't care that her car just got hit. Like it was just like a non-issue. Like she's mad about it, but like it's like, fucking hit my car.
Is there no like?
I don't know. I was like, is this normal? But also, like, I got on a train and I met a soldier, and I'm like, "Can I hold your M16?" And I have a picture of me holding his M16. So, when I was like 8, it's so crazy.
Oh my god!
Yeah, what a wild place Israel is.
That just reminded me of there was a period when this is a long time ago, like 10 years ago. I worked at a recruiting firm as a recruiter, and I was very depressed and like very overweight. And every morning, as a coping mechanism, I would stop and get donuts on my way into work.
How many donuts?
Really unhealthy. Yeah, like 3 or 4 donuts. Like I was like, this was about the most unhealthy I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
Like I would get like 3 donuts and like 2 kolaches every single morning. I mean, like 1,300 calories for breakfast.
It's probably more than that. I don't fault you.
Probably.
Because if I go to like Round Rock Donuts, I'm getting multiple donuts for me, and I'm getting multiple kolaches for me.
No, absolutely.
But
that, like, I would still do that today. It's just that
not every day.
That was every morning, every single morning.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah, and I was driving this beat up old Volvo that was always on its last leg, and I went through this period in 3 weeks. I got rear-ended 3 times. And this is like a TV show. Every single time, near one of the stoplights outside of this kolache donut place, and it was as I was taking a bite of my donut, I would get rear-ended. The donut would fly forward, and it was, and all 3 times it was some girl in her 20s.
And it was like jelly on the fucking windscreen.
Like sprinkles went everywhere, just like exploded all over my dash. The first time it happened, I was like, okay, that sucked. You made a mistake. Obviously, we exchanged insurance information. The second time it happened, I was like, okay, what the fuck? Yeah. What am I, is there some way I'm contributing to the situation?
Bad driver.
Yeah, by being stopped at a light.
Yeah.
I'm a bad driver.
Yeah.
And the third time, I was like, is my life even worth living?
Dude.
It was so awful.
Did you have insurance claims for all those?
Yeah, but there was like no. This fucking Volvo, dude. It took no damage.
Oh, that you could see.
Yeah, it just a dents on the fender. But I got it checked out every time, and they were like, "Yeah, it's fine."
Oh, okay.
But then, I would just drive it, and it was falling apart. So it's immune to getting hit, but not immune to motion.
Yeah. Man,
What about you? What countries have you been to?
I've been very lucky, especially in the last like decade. I've been to Japan twice. I've been to New Zealand. I've been to Scotland. I've been to it's the Jersey Isles, which is I think still considered in England, but technically I laid over in London, but I went to the Jersey Isles, so somewhere in England. Um, yeah, those are all the fun places I've been to, and then Israel, Mexico. Is Belize a country?
That's a good question.
I think
I don't
I learned
actually
it recently, thinking it was just part of Mexico, but I think it's just like somewhere in South America. I went there. Same with Cozumel, Roatan. I don't know if those are countries or places in Mexico, but I went there too.
Cool.
So,
Man, yeah. You've been traveling.
yeah, over the past decade, I got pretty lucky.
I don't even know where my passport is. I should find that.
Oh, dude, you should always have it ready. You never know when something's gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't.
It takes forever to get one.
Man, yeah, okay. I should work on that.
You should-
Well, I'm never gonna have money to go anywhere for a long time.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Does matter.
Doesn't get it done. Just pay the $80 or whatever to get the slow. Just get it done. Man, can I tell a couple of or can I tell an Adam story?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So, first off, I want to preface this by saying Adam is awesome. One of my best friends.
Yes.
Got me a job at Rooster Teeth. Played games with me for years. He's a great dude. He's very smart. Obviously he's in charge of everything technology at Rooster Teeth now.
Mm-hmm. He's been a mentor for us for a long time.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
But there are things that Adam does sometimes that are so like they're so like weird, and they're so funny because like the way he handles them is so goofy. And so this exact example is sometimes he says words wrong or uses them wrong. And we're in the office one day and he's talking. He's like, I went up to the Koisk and I was trying to figure this out. And we're both like, what? Yeah. He's like, I stopped at the Koisk, right at the front. What are you saying? He's like, the Koisk. And I was like, write it down. It was kiosk. And I go, do you mean the word kiosk? And he goes, I always hated that word. Anyways. Oh, man. That dude is so funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, he just he brushes it off. And I think maybe he still says Koisk. I don't know. I haven't really talked about kiosks too much with him.
I almost respect this about Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when he's wrong about something, he's gonna stick with it.
Yeah. It's not wrong to him. He knows what he meant.
So awesome.
Oh my God. Dude, there was a time, this is not Adam related, but this is office related, where we had an intern. And I'm going to be very honest. This person sucked. And we can call him Todd because that was his name. But we did not. Normally, when we got interns, we would interview them and choose the intern that we thought would do the best.
Yep.
This one showed up at our door, and it was like someone who didn't work at the company for very long somehow got him an internship without our consent, forced him upon us. And when I say he sucked, I don't mean like he was a bad person. I just mean like we would try to give him tasks and stuff to do to learn, and he would say, oh yeah, I'm not going to do that. I don't feel comfortable. And then he would just sit there and watch League of Legends tournaments. Like, for example, we asked him, hey, would you mind going into our network or our storage cage and finding us some a telephone cable and maybe even like another cable? And he goes, sure. 45 minutes later comes back to you. He's like, what does it look like? And you go like, it looks like this. Let me show you a picture. It's kind of like Ethernet, a little bit more narrow, a little bit shorter maybe. Okay, another 30 minutes. He says, "Yeah, I'm just not comfortable." And he sits down and he watches his League of Legends tournament. And there had been like other things like that where I was like, I showed him how to run like an Ethernet cable from the Ethernet port on the wall to a computer. And I was like, and so we've ran this, but we need to make it safe so people don't trip over it. So we need to, at the time we either use cable runners or we use gaff tape. And I showed him how to gaff tape part of it. I was like, can you just gaff tape the rest of this and make sure it's flush and flat so no one trips on it? And he goes, okay. And then like 20 minutes later, he comes back and sits down and I go, must have done it. And I walk by, didn't do it. So he's just watching League of Legends.
Okay, let me just interrupt real quick to provide some more context on that phone cable story.
Yeah.
Because we went back and forth like 4 times where I would say, I know there's one in there, go find it. And I would look up what the picture is. Like, here's how it's different from the Ethernet cable. He couldn't find it. He'd be like, I don't know where it is. Somewhere else I can look. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, it's in there. Just go find it. It's in one of those boxes. And that's, and then he finally came back and was like, I can't find this. I'm not comfortable with it. But the funny part was there wasn't one in there. Because when I went and looked later, I don't know what happened to him. I was pretty certain there was one in there, but there wasn't.
Okay. Well, in that situation, he didn't do his job.
But
couldn't.
He kept bringing back Ethernet cables. As like,
I remember he brought back like one of those like flat Ethernet cables.
like
this one, it's like you're so close.
You latched onto the wrong part of the cable.
But it got to the point where like he would come to the office and he would not do anything. He just said, I'm just sit here for today and observe and listen. And he would just watch League of Legends.
Yeah.
And so me being dingus, I said, I'm going to mess with him. And I was in charge of, the everything, the Wi-Fi, the networking. And so on the Wi-Fi system we used, there was the option to just like look at all your devices and search by host name, and his was very clearly Todd, laptop, League of Legends, something like that. So I was like, I know that's him. So I would just like turn off his access to the internet, not to the network, just to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'd be watching his League of Legends tournament and then go, what happened? It stopped working. And then he wouldn't say anything right away. He'd sort of like look around and like refresh a bunch. And he'd be like, are you guys having internet problems? And we go, no. And he'd go, mine's not working. And I go, oh, well, perfect troubleshooting opportunity. And so he was like, well, what can I do? I was like, try, resetting your network card, checking device manager, make sure everything's working, you're not missing any drivers, restarting. And he does all that. He's like, what else can I do? I was like, try restarting it 3 times. And generally that will do the trick. I think I made something up of why it would work. And then he did it and I would turn the internet back on. and then so he'd be like, it worked. And then like he would just get back to his League of Legends, and then 15 minutes later, and that went on for like 4 hours. It's the fucking best, and he never knew. And then, but it got so bad with him that like he wasn't allowed to be our intern, and the person that like forced him upon us had to take him. And then everyone over there was like, "Why won't this guy do anything?"
Yeah. So just to be clear, this was, and I very much disagree with this practice, and Rooster Teeth does not do this anymore. But at the time, all interns were unpaid interns.
Oh yeah, that's a really bad practice.
And they pay interns now, like, just to be totally clear. But I never would have imagined we would find somebody to do an unpaid internship that we would then have to fire them from. I mean, he got fired from an unpaid job, which is this is how bad he was. Like, he was slowing down our work.
Yes.
1, because he wouldn't do any work, but 2, because we spent so much time messing with him.
Well, at a certain point when he's not going to do any work, you might as well provide us entertainment.
Right.
But yeah, like the other interns that we had were great, and we would just show them the day-to-day process of being IT support. and give them experience in that.
Yeah.
Which sucks that we didn't pay them. Not our choice.
Right. Not our choice.
But yeah, man, Todd. We had other intern stories, but I want to be very clear. Other than Todd, I loved every single one of our interns.
Absolutely.
They were great.
Even when they did weird, funny shit, like that was kind of baffling. I still loved them. Like we had one intern he was a great intern. He worked very hard, but we told him to break down boxes one day, which just in case anybody's not aware, when you break down a box, you just open it and make it go flat, and then it's broken down.
Yeah.
But he decided that what that meant was to rip every single cardboard box into pieces about this big. And we, after like an hour, we walk around the corner and there's just a pile of ripped up cardboard.
Yeah, I remember being like, "Oh, hey man," and I wasn't mean. I was like, "Hey, I'll show you a little trick. This is how I learned how to break down boxes. Here's the knife that I gave you earlier." And I would like slice the bottom, pull out the flaps, and fold it, and then just put it in the recycling container. And he was like, "Okay." And then he just continued to do it his way. and then I think this might have been right around the exact same time. The reason he had a lot of boxes to break down was because he was building a bunch of computers or helping build a bunch of computers. I think maybe his job was like getting everything out, getting rid of the trash, because that's annoying when you're building a dozen computers to get all that stuff out of the way because you need the room. But he was carrying all that stuff in from like the shipping area, and I saw him doing it. And do you remember like in like some cultures they'll carry like jars on their head? He was doing it with computer cases. It was very precarious. I'm like, I was like, if you want, you can carry it by the handles, because it has handles on the side. And he just says, I like doing it my way.
Hey, you know what? He had a way he wanted to do it, and he never dropped one.
No, he didn't. And
so
also, he was so hardworking.
Oh,
he never did anything wrong. He just maybe took inefficient routes to do some of the things.
He had his own style.
But love that guy.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
I did not love Todd.
No, love Todd.
And
Todd, if you're listening, I think you deserve that.
Yeah, you really didn't.
You don't have to wonder if I don't like you. I don't.
I'm sorry if you're listening, Todd. I do remember during that Todd story how hard Adam Baird was trying to keep it together.
Dude. It's like he had a moral conundrum.
He absolutely did, because he was in charge. Like Todd did not directly report to us. Like everybody in the department reported to Adam at that time. Mm-hmm. And Adam, I could see it on his face that he thought this was the funniest fucking thing. And he had triple monitors, and he was sitting as close into the monitors so Todd couldn't see his face because he was just barely holding it together.
Beat red, dude. There's like nothing better than a good office laugh, though, man.
Yeah.
God. Do you have any good office stories?
I mean, I have some times that. More times that you messed with me. You want to bring those up?
Please be nice.
You want to save those for?
Can you tell me something nice about what thing did I do at the office that was nice for you?
Okay, you know what? That's a good point. Actually, I was gonna try to bring this up this time, and I forgot about it because my morning got all fucked up. That I wanted to say something nice about you because you said something nice about me last time, and I really appreciate it.
Okay, I'm ready.
So what I really appreciate about you is like how much fucking energy you bring to really any room you're ever in.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's incredible to me.
Thank you.
That like one person can just bring so much energy and happiness to a room.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take the compliment as is. I guess maybe I just get excited and then I'm a goofball, especially like if I'm comfortable around you, dude. I'm like
very goofy.
I can't not be goofy.
Yeah, and it's funny.
And it's a lot of times it's like I feel like maybe I play stupid too much, And then maybe people think I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid. Like, I just want to see people laugh. That's I want to make people like me, so I'm going to make them laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Okay,
Now
so
tell
now
me
here's
a
a
mean
story.
story.
So, okay, and again, this is not really a mean story because you were
Okay.
just being goofy. But you also don't turn the goofiness off when you're getting laughs.
Does this story involve a cable?
There is that story.
I don't want to hear that
These
one.
are two very similar stories.
Okay.
So there's the cable story and then the Elgato story. Okay, so
I think the Elgato story is better. So
I'm gonna plow right ahead into this one.
Yeah.
So at the time, the people working in the office was me, Adam Baird, and one of our engineers, Dave Pratt.
Mhm.
And anytime Adam was doing something to mess with me, even it was like not mean spirit, nothing like that. But he would get obviously great laughs out of Adam and Dave, and he liked that. And to be fair, it was funny. Except when I really did need information to do my job. So I was looking for an Elgato that was somewhere in the office. I had no idea where it was. I didn't touch it last. I think you used it last. And I was like, hey, where is that Elgato? Because I really need it. Like achievement hunters shooting something, they need it. Mm-hmm. And you responded with Elgato. It means the cat.
Not wrong.
And so we laughed. Ha ha ha. But I was like, okay, this is funny. Okay, but where is it? And you said, Elgato. It means the cat. Okay, so I laugh less this time, but Dave and Adam laugh more. So okay, they laugh, and I go, okay, where is it? Because the achievement hunter needs it. Elgato. It means the cat. And the third time I do not laugh at all, and I just am like, okay, dude, I need to fucking find this thing. So I leave. Uh-huh. And you never, by the way, you never told me where it was.
Yeah.
After an hour, I eventually found it. But you probably said, Elgato, it means the cat 10 times.
I think the thing you don't know is that I didn't know where it was.
Right. But you didn't communicate this information to me.
I told you everything I knew about the situation.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Oh my God. So this is like these stories are hilarious. But I think I said this last time we talked about office stories. To me, they're much funnier in hindsight. They're not that funny in the moment when I really need to do a thing. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, and I understand why I have feelings that you might not like me. Yeah, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry.
Yeah, I do get in like goofy moods where like I cannot be serious. And it's when you say it like that, it sounds like I'm doing it to be mean to you, when in reality it's just like I'm stuck. I'm on a loop. And I do get stuck, whether it's like making a noise, singing a song. I just get stuck on a loop sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, man. So funny.
Man. All right. Well, before we talk about games, can we talk about one other thing that me and you have thought about doing?
Yeah.
Book club for
awesome.
us and for the podcast, for the 68 people that have listened to this show. Because I know there's at least 68.
You know what? I love every one of those people, unless your name is Todd.
Yeah, Todd, fuck you. So I think what we should do is maybe talk about what book, like decide what book we want to read, and then come back in like a month, and we'll bring it up again in the next couple weeks, and then we'll talk about it. I'm open. I just started reading a Stephen King book called Revival that I'm really enjoying. But if you would rather start something we both haven't started, I'm fine with that. I got Audible credits ready to go.
Let's do Revival. Now we thought it was you thought it was the new Stephen King book.
Maybe I confused the word recent with new, because it is recent compared to like his body of work.
It cannot be. It came out 10 years ago.
That's 9 years. And how long has he been making books? 400? You don't know.
Dude, he's a prolific author.
He writes a lot.
Like I bet there's been 20 or 30 books he's released since then.
I said new
That was
because
probably a little
when I was
much.
looking up book recommendations, someone was like, I was reading his newer book, Revival, and I really
Okay.
liked it.
Let's read it. I've never read it.
Okay.
And I need to clear the bad taste in my mouth that his actual newest book, Fairy Tale, left in my mouth
Oh no.
because it was terrible.
Was it?
But people love that book, and it really confuses me. Like,
Where are you going to get opinions on books?
I don't really look up opinions on books too often.
Mhm.
I did with this one because I started the book. The first half of the book is really good. And then it is so bad. And I was like, man, this really sucks. Like, I'm really not enjoying this. I couldn't even finish the book. And somebody else I was reading it with at the time did finish it, and they, out of stubbornness, because like they also hated the point at the exact same point that I started hating the book.
Did the story take a turn that was like, oh, this was going in an interesting direction and now it's ruined?
Yes,
I hate that.
It was going in. Well, it went into an interesting direction. It's just that what happened after the interesting part was so dumb, like so dumb, to me at least. Now, after reading it or giving up on reading it after that part, I noticed it was in Audible bestsellers. It still is. It's still one of the bestsellers, and it's like 4.9 stars.
Jeez, it's a high rating for Audible.
And so I started reading comments because I'm like, this is so confusing to me, because I thought, like, yeah, the first half of this book is amazing. Is that what people are reading and then reviewing? I don't know. It's confusing. I still don't understand it. People love it. People absolutely love the twist. And the twist was interesting up until he started going into the twist. If that makes, I'm trying not to spoil anything because I want people to read it, or
No,
if
it
they're
makes
interested in it.
total sense. But that's a real bummer, especially because you're already so committed at that point.
Yeah, like if the twist, this is not what it is, but if the twist was walking into a new room, I was like, holy shit, a new room. This is cool. And then everything in that room was so dumb as he's describing it. And like, oh man, such a bummer.
Yeah, I hate stories where, I don't know if this is the case, but when like they're alluding to like something supernatural or paranormal that could be really interesting, you're like, I'm really curious to see like, oh my god, is it aliens? Like, let's go. And then it's like, nope, it was just this is all these coincidences. Like, fuck this. That's what I'm imagining. I don't know if it is that, but what kind of books are you into? We should probably establish that.
I'm really just into science fiction and fantasy. I do like reading historical stuff, but I typically will only read like autobiographies or historical stuff when there's no good new sci-fi fantasy books out, which I feel like there has not been for a long time.
Yeah.
So I do lean a lot more towards sci-fi. I absolutely love sci-fi, particularly hard sci-fi.
What is hard sci-fi?
Hard sci-fi is like science fiction that's grounded in reality.
I thought that was also is it not all sci-fi is supposed to be like grounded in reality? Like this could be an outcome of our future or whatever.
That is speculative sci-fi or like far future sci-fi. Like it, hard sci-fi is okay. So if a show has a warp drive, not hard sci-fi. If they have things that we don't think are currently possible, it's not hard sci-fi. Like wormholes or any of these crazy future technologies that might be possible, but like we don't
Can you give me an
have no way.
example of something that is hard sci-fi?
Hard sci-fi would be Project Hail Mary or The Expanse or like things that are grounded in very near future technologies, like current and near future technologies. Now, like Project Hail Mary took a lot of um, creative liberties with the. I'm not going to spoil anything because literally everybody should read Project Hail Mary. It is one of the best science fiction books of all
The
time.
book is so good.
But it took some creative liberties in the twist in that book. But an example of not hard sci-fi, I'm racking my brain right now. There's a book called Pandora's Star. Have you ever read Pandora's Star?
I have it on my Audible list because you recommended it. I just never hit play.
It's really good, but it has wormholes and warp drives, and like it explains them all in kind of like believable ways. But none of the technology that underpins that society seems currently possible.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
And I could be totally fucking up that definition, by the way. That is how I understand it. So if I'm wrong, I would really love to be corrected.
Okay. And you also like sci-fi. You got me into Stormlight Archives and Brandon Sanderson as a whole. And
Amazing.
Yeah. Those books are like, I'm ready to get a Bridgeport tattoo. I've just finished rereading all of them. I love those books. So they're my favorite books, 100%.
Yeah.
I also like the Mistborn trilogy. I haven't finished Era 2. But yeah.
Stormlight Archive is incredible. Cannot wait for that to be a show or a movie. I hope it's a show. It's too long for a movie.
Way too long for a movie.
I'm worried that it's going to be a movie because he's talked about licensing the rights for a movie.
Well, the thing is that it's also like I cannot conceive of how to make some of these things work in any sort of visual media. Like, for example, there's a race of people that everything they do is tied to rhythms and songs that they hear playing in their head, and that like all of their speech is musical, and the idea of that like sounds like it would just come out stupid.
Yeah, I think there's ways you could do that. I mean, like I feel like there's ways you could do that and have it feel natural.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part is the Spren.
Yeah.
Which is partly why, to be totally honest, I think Stormlight Archive should be an anime, because that's a more like it would feel less weird to see like Spren.
Like I can only imagine, like, because of just the volume of Spren that exists in that world, like the amount of CG that would be going on, it would just kind of look superfluous.
And for people that don't know, if you have not read Stormlight Archive, Spren are otherworldly creatures that manifest themselves in the world in response to people's emotions.
Yeah.
So if you're very afraid, you'll attract a specific type of fear Spren around you.
Yeah.
So it's very like it seems like it would work for an anime, but would look a little weird in live action. But it could work in live action.
Yeah, maybe someone can make it work. It just, it is such a fantastical world in so many ways that I worry. I don't want Wheel of Time.
Man, Wheel of Time sucked.
It's so bad.
And I don't really like those books anyway. I mean, they're fine.
I read the first one,
like
because that show was coming out, and then I was like,
It's a little more on the basic fantasy side, but
I think
there's cool stuff in there, and the show could have been pretty good.
Yeah.
There's like elements of the show where like, man, you like just like a little bit less dumb, and this could have been really cool and interesting.
Did
your cat just open a door?
One sec. What are we talking about?
Wheel of Time?
Lost the train of thought.
It's fine.
So cat interruptions.
But we're gonna read Revival.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And anybody that wants to read Revival with us, we would love to engage with you in the comments and talk about this book. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I like fantasy a lot, but I've been on a horror kick I've read like 24 horror books the past year. So that's when it's my choice, I'm probably going to go something horror.
I think that's great because I haven't really read much horror outside of whatever Stephen King puts out.
Yeah.
Because I really do like Stephen King, even though I hated Fairy Tale.
Yeah. He has good writing he has bad writing and then great writing.
Yeah. But man, when Stephen King is good, like I'm not sure there's a better American author. Like in American history, he's I think one of the top American authors.
Yeah. There's something he does where his writing, his characters and the way he writes like families and things, like I get nostalgic for something I have no nostalgia for. Like, I never lived this rural life, but it's so interesting and like I just you feel connected to it.
Yeah, there is something really unique about rural America, in good and bad ways. He only captures the good ways.
Yeah.
But he captures it in such a way that, like you're saying, that you're just like, I wish I had experienced this. But he pulls you in that you almost feel like you have experienced it, like that nostalgia you're talking about. And it's just, oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, and I love his style is just like, at least for the books that I've read, is so much like he's just telling you a story. He's not like getting lost in prose, and it's just like it's such the way his writing style is so natural feeling.
Yeah,
I love it, but I know that he's divisive in some ways. Okay, before we talk about games, real quick, we've gotten a few TikTok comments on the clips that we put out, and one of them specifically was about you being a picky eater, and I think he gets it. He says, "Yeah, well, why don't you have Japanese pig anus? You don't want it. You're a picky eater." And I go, "This guy understands."
Okay.
So yeah, he thinks you're a picky eater for sure.
That's not what I gathered from that comment.
Joke.
Well, thank you, person who probably doesn't watch the podcast and probably just saw the TikTok video and will never see this. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it.
No, he's a dingus.
Solidarity.
I don't like him. I don't like the language he used. Anus, bad word.
Video game.
Video games. Have you been playing anything new?
No.
Okay.
No. Path of Exile.
I haven't either. Because of Path of Exile and Guild Wars.
Yeah. There's also not a lot new out right now. As far as I'm aware.
There's things coming out that I want to play and talk about. I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks, so I don't know if I'll be able to talk about Jedi, but I do want to talk about that one. The second Jedi, is it Fallen Order 2, I think it's called? I don't know what the name of it is, but
I don't know.
That's the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. And then today is Dead Island 2, which I'm supposed to have made a tweet about because I made a Master and Apprentice episode for it, and I completely forgot. But I'm going to do that right after this podcast.
Glad we remember.
So that comes out. Maybe I'll play that if I can get a free code. I feel like I did this whole episode. Just give me your fucking game.
You liked the first Dead Island?
Yeah, that was on the cusp of too scary, even though it's really not that bad because it's like outside at a resort. But like the times when you have to go inside, I don't like that.
So scary, dude.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, if it's daylight and I have a lot of room to run, I can do it.
Yeah. And there's like in the first one at least there was a you have to get through like a chunk of the beginning of the game before you can do co-op. So like that was a really hard.
That sucks
for me. But
Are you gonna co-op it?
I don't know. I don't know if I have anyone to play with. If you get it and you want to play, let me know. If I get it, I'll let you know because I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah, it's a full price game, huh?
It's a full price game,
and I only have a contract part-time job right now.
Yeah, I have no job, so I'm gonna hang on to buying games. Okay.
Well, if a second free code falls in your lap, I'll totally co-op it with you.
For sure.
That sounds awesome. I love playing free games.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Okay. Cool.
It's fun. I mean, I'm sure it would be not scary co-op because we'd be together.
It depends.
I mean,
I played what was the parkour zombie game? I can't remember the name.
Dying Light.
I played that game with a friend of mine, and everything was going great. It was like I can handle this.
Yeah.
up until nighttime
Yeah.
when those red-eyed super zombies come after you, and I scream. I mean, 5 minutes of screaming
Yeah.
and running. And my friend was just like, "It's not that scary." He's just laughing at me.
When I played those games, I just didn't play nighttime because you can do that. You can just you forego like the rewards of playing nighttime.
Oh man, it's too scary.
Too scary. I have been playing a little Guild War, a lot of Guild. I'm playing some Guild Wars.
Okay.
But I have nothing new to say about it other than I'm still having fun and playing it. But we've both been into the path.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, Path to me, I might have talked about this before, but that game to me is now every league, try some of the new stuff, try some of the new builds that come out with the new league mechanics or the new skills. Or I've played so much of that game and played so many of the skills that I kind of just try the new stuff. And there's some cool new stuff this league. I think I talked about that last episode a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I just had an idea last night with one of the new Crucible trees that I thought that looks fun. I'm gonna go try that. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, I'm still playing it, but not as obsessed as I typically am with Path or have been in the past.
Yeah, I was sort of casually playing it. You gave me first off, you built the build for me. You gave me all the gear. You gave me the skill trees. And then you wrote out a bunch of instructions. You're like, once you get to these stats, put this on, do this, do that, do this. And so like I worked towards that little level where I could do it, and I got the build put together. And it was like last night I was like, I'm still having some problems. You know, let me give you like 1 or 2 items to fix, you know, your resists and fix your stat problem a little bit. And once you did that, it was like, okay, the build works. And then I cleared the game and then got to mapping last night. And then I was like, oh, fuck, this is so addictive. I stayed up too late, and I don't stay up late. I don't stay up past like 10 most of the time. I was up past midnight.
Yeah.
It's very addictive.
Yeah, I was a little surprised because I got off around 10 to eat some food.
I saw you come back online.
I got back on and I was like, oh, he's still on. Like, that's a good sign. That's a good and a bad sign for you.
Yeah.
You're having fun, but now you're up late.
Man, that game is, I don't know how else to put it. It is so fucking impenetrable. Here I am. I'm level almost 80. This is like the 3rd time I've gotten to this level, maybe 4th. And I'm doing mapping for maybe the 2nd or 3rd time. I remember what happened last time with mapping was I would just I did all my maps and I had no more. And I went, I don't know what to fucking do. And then I didn't know that there was an atlas tree because the game doesn't make it clear to you that
I'm not sure there was the last time you played.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. It still doesn't make it clear that if you do these special requirements, you'll get like skill points to that tree, which seems great. But I think the really biggest, not the skill tree is the skill tree is not the biggest, most difficult thing to understand in that game. It's the fucking items, and it's trying to balance like, okay, I know I need more strength to get this weapon equipped, but if I get strength in my gloves, I'll lose my mana regeneration, or I'll lose the dex that these gloves are giving me. And it's like balancing, like taking off one piece of gear and losing the ability to play your character because you've now taken away a vital stat is so frustrating to like try to cope with. Because I'll like what was happening when I was trying to put the build together with the gear you gave me. It was like, all right, I'm gonna put these boots on. The moment I put the boots on, I couldn't equip any of my other things because I ran out of dex or whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard to parse the information on all the items, and then it's hard to like keep track of like, okay, I think these are good gloves, but I can't wear them yet because I need to find a replacement for all the dex that I'm going to lose by taking these other gloves off.
Yeah.
I don't know if my brain will work this way.
Yeah. So I think what you're describing is like a good and a bad thing about that game, because Path, what makes it so, and I think to a lot of people makes it so addicting, is it gives you so many things to solve for when you're trying to make a build.
Yeah.
And that is fun because that's part of the item, like gear progression. Gear progression is fun.
Yeah.
But to your point, only when you understand it and understand how to do it and understand what the options are.
Right.
So yeah, there are so many systems that you're unfamiliar with where like when I think, oh, I have an attribute problem, I know exactly how to fix that. Yeah, you don't know how to fix that because you don't know all the systems that exist that give you the opportunities to fix that. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And I will still keep trying to help you fix your
Thank you.
gear because that's fun to me. I like answering questions about Path of Exile.
Yeah, and like to me, I'm having fun, even though like you've given me all my gear. Even though I've since last night I've done like 30 maps, I have not picked up any new gear because I don't know what to pick up. I'll just pick up like the uniques and I'll sell the 6 link stuff. And then I'll like look at the stuff and I'm like, I don't really think this is good. I'm just going to leave it. So like, I don't.
Yeah, this is a big problem with Path of Exile that is a legitimate complaint for me. The gear that drops on the ground is usually 99.99% of the time worthless, and that's not good for an ARPG.
No.
Like the way that you get meaningful upgrades in Path, and this is a fun progression, but it is really the only it's only progression because it's very rare that you get an upgrade to drop on the ground. The real progression is crafting your gear. And it is so fun and so rewarding, but you have to know all the systems. You have to know how to craft gear. You have to know, what you're even looking for and like how to get those stats on items. And once you do, like there is nothing, I mean, seriously, there is no game that's even close to it. And people get mad because they feel like it's like sort of glorified gambling, but there's absolutely, I wouldn't say deterministic ways, but you can control the crafting process to a significant degree.
Right.
And it's awesome when you hit like really sweet mods.
Also, I think glorified gambling is a misnomer because it's not real money you're using. You're just
I just see that a lot on the subreddit. Dude, people in Path of Exile subreddit are bitchy.
Yeah. I think a lot of games that have passionate followings are bitchy because they love the game so much and they want it to be something that's not.
It
Maybe
used to be
not.
though.
Really?
The community used to be like super supportive. The developers were always in there talking to people, and then it got really toxic the last few years. Developers don't even engage anymore on the subreddit.
Really?
Because they're so toxic. Like subreddit is so toxic.
Yeah, I feel like I'm looking for community manager jobs right now, and some games like that game specifically, I look at it and I'm like, how could I even do this job without when every community member would know more about the game than I would? And I think most people trying to do that job, like you need other qualifications other than knowing about the game, but like it's hard. It's hard to find someone who knows the ins and outs of the games and is a community manager or qualified to be a community manager. Yeah, it's intimidating.
I'm really glad you got to in-game and you're having fun.
Yeah, it's addictive. I'm just like popping new maps in, upgrading shit. I have one of my missions for Mr. Guy is it's like a unique color, so I might need help with that. But
oh yeah,
I also discovered my first reflect elemental damage thing.
Oh yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah,
where I walked in and I go, okay, time to do my move, and I did it. I'm dead. Wow, that was quick. So now I know I can't go into those maps.
Yes, yeah, there are certain certainly build breaking modifiers on some of those map mods. But man, the end game is so good, and there's like the in-game bosses are so good and so fun.
I don't even know what in-game bosses are, like in the maps or just like other things.
So
I've heard of Shaper.
Yeah, that's still in the game, and that's a fun fight. But like there are like, as you progress the Atlas, you'll get quests to like chase after these certain bosses, and you will run maps with their influence on the map, which will spawn their specific monsters. And every map completion awards you a tick towards fighting that boss.
Got it.
So after like 30 maps with that influence at a certain tier, you'll fight like their lieutenant, and then like 10 you'll fight their lieutenant, and then another 20 you'll fight them, and they have like a chance to drop like very powerful but very rare gear. And that is one of the really addicting things to me about the end game is like chasing those bosses, because they can be very hard. Like they're really hard, and you have to have a good build to kill them.
What build are you? You abandoned your other build. What are you working on now?
I'm just trying it's a skill called Rolling Magma.
Oh, right.
It is it's a projectile that just bounces forward. The Crucible tree gives it 200% more area of effect. So, in Path of Exile, more is a multiplicative modifier, whereas increased is an additive modifier.
Got it.
So when you see more, that is a very powerful thing.
So when you say the Crucible tree, are there predetermined? Do weapons have predetermined Crucible trees, or is it like random? Like you gave me a Mjolnir with one tree. If I get another Mjolnir, would it have a different tree?
Yeah, it's random what's on every weapon.
But you're saying a Crucible mod can roll.
Yeah, so I searched for a staff with that modifier and just bought it.
Got it.
Because it's random what you're going to get on the weapon.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to just upgrade my Mjolnir Crucible tree for just to have it, and man, that shit takes forever.
It takes a really long time.
I can't even see the bar anymore when it grows. It's so slow.
It's if I remember right, that is a higher item level Mjolnir, which means it's going to take, like, I know we talked about a little bit last night about the exponential experience increases.
Yeah.
So that'll go faster the higher level maps you run because you're getting like much more experience.
Got it.
And I'm pretty sure it's scaled to like level 68 maps. Whereas like if you were on a level 80 map, you would probably fill up half the bar every time you do it.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why I'm filling it out because it's not, the tree doesn't seem that useful, but
yeah,
it's just something to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's really fun to see, like every now and again, you'll get someone that just spits out a bunch of loot and the loot filter makes a bunch of noises and there's a bunch of bars in this. I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know if this is good or not, but I got like 8 gilded scarabs for map modifiers. I'm like, those seem fun.
Really good.
Yeah, like all in one drop. I'm like, that seems great. And then one time a guy dropped 35 of the same like staff or whatever. I love those mods. It's so much fun to see tons of loot pop up.
Mm-hmm.
But sad that most of it's useless. But I have a stash full of uniques that I'm saving for a rainy day, I guess.
Yeah.
What happens to your items when you merge into Standard League?
All of your pages will merge to your standard page as remove only. So if you ever go play standard, you can't put more items in those stash tabs. You can pull them out, and then when you pull out the last item of a remove only tab, it goes away.
Okay, so it's not deleting them.
They'll merge everything.
Got
and
it.
your character will end up in standard with all the gear it has on it.
Got it. Okay.
I have a graveyard of dozens of standard characters that I never touch with like 1,000 remove only tabs because I never clear it out.
Yeah. I don't really see a reason to play a Standard League character. Seems but
I don't either. But people do.
That's Path. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Call of Duty. I'm just kidding.
We could talk about Call of Duty. What's new there?
I'm still shooting people with the crossbow.
Okay.
Me and Brian are using a crossbow and rocket launcher, and we're doing like a 1-2 punch where if you miss your crossbow bolt, you whip out a rocket and they never see it fucking coming, and it's so much fun.
It's awesome.
And the game we're playing right now is trying to get the longest long shot with crossbows, so we're going back and forth. I think my highest is 126.16 right now. So
awesome.
Pretty fucking great.
It's pretty cool.
I don't know, man. This is a dumb shooter game.
No, I mean, this shit's fun.
Fun to shoot people with gun. So.
You know what I was thinking about? You mentioned this the other day. We should maybe try a Terraria playthrough.
Yeah.
With mods. A friend of mine would want to do it. So maybe when you get back from your trip, we'll do Terraria.
Yeah. I have like a list of mods. I started it again the other day for like 5 minutes, and then I got killed by a slime, and I said, "Fuck this game." I turned it off. I'd be down. I really love Terraria. I haven't done a playthrough in so long. There's things I didn't do in the base game. Like I've killed the Moon Lord and stuff, but I never built like, what is that like? It's like a mount that mines for you. That's super dope.
Yeah, I never had that either.
It's like one of those things that takes forever to farm for. But I had like the UFO, and that was always super fun. Like I don't know, that game was really cool.
Yeah, the itemization in that game is awesome. Yeah, it's really fun.
Good progression, other than like some of the beginning progression just doesn't matter. But yeah,
it's a little boring.
Some of the mods that I'm using like have different classes and stuff, like more than the base game did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of mods that significantly changed the game. So I would be definitely interested in playing that.
Yeah.
And we just have to figure out a way to get a dedicated server up.
Do we? So we can...
Just so, like, there'll be times I'll want to, like, if you're going to bed, I'm like, I want to keep mining.
Okay.
Running around. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Why not you just host it, and I'll join you when you're playing, and we can have I can have my own world when you're not around.
That's fair.
It doesn't really matter to me.
That's true. We can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Man, Todd Wi-Fi. That's about all I have for this week.
Well, we covered a lot for a games podcast.
We did. So many games. Maybe we'll have more games, more path to talk about next week. Yeah, we're pretty. I feel like we're topic agnostic. We're just gonna have to. We're just figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, and for the 60 people that watch, it's awesome. I love that y'all are watching us talk about random shit.
Totally. All right. Well, dope. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.